All right, it's recording, so we'll dive into this right now.
Okay.
But hey everybody, we have Mike Tolbert on here with Terminator, an online trading community. Mike, glad to have you on here.
Good to have you too. Also, I'm the president of Blue Sky trading firm, which is BLUSKY dot pro, Blue Sky dot pro. So we are also a partner in that.
Real quick, that's when we spoke, and just for the viewers' sake too, Mike and I have known each other for a couple years just via LinkedIn, but this is the first time we're like kind of chatting with each other. I think the video is cutting off, by the way, but the recording I think keeps the quality. I think it's just because it's like recording. So if you notice anything, we should be good to go. Or if I start to drop, just you can just message me and we'll get back to it. But your firm, you actually have an office for that, right?
Yes, we office in Clearwater, Florida.
Cool, cool. That's a lot different from an online trading community.
Yeah.
So for how this show will go, obviously this is just our second recording here, but I have a list of questions. So for the viewers at home, if you see me glancing down, I'm reading the questions, trying to prepare here. So Mike, glad to have you on here. We have a set of looks like it's about 10 questions here, and we're gonna dive right into this thing.
Okay, cool.
All
Sounds fun.
right. So, real quick, just a personal background. I mean, you have a pretty unique situation. You have your own firm. You have your own online trading community. What's the history of all this? How did you get into this?
Well, it's kind of strange. I have a really cool backstory. I was in the military. I got out of the army and started driving a semi cross country. And I drove it. I would drive cross country from LA to California. So at night, I drove 10, 12 hours a night, every night. So I would constantly
Real
have
quick,
the YouTube.
Louisiana to California,
No, LA, Los Angeles.
L.A. Okay, okay. You would
I
start
did
in
the long,
L.A.
I did long haul back and forth.
Oh, okay.
And
On the East
so
Coast.
I did it for years. And I always was thinking about trading. I was in penny stocks and all that stuff. You know, everybody starts out in penny stocks, wants to make $1 million. You know, it doesn't work. So then I got the stocks and it kind of didn't pan out either. So I found about futures. So I started studying the futures in the semi every night, 10 hours a night. But then I got a platform. I think it was a Trade Navigator was the first one. I think something like that. It was back in the day. But I got a platform and I got I got up in the morning. Well, I was already up in the mornings, but I'd go in the truck stop in the morning and whatever I wrote down that night, I'd practice. Well, that didn't work. And I kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And finally, um, one day my wife told me, she said, "Hey, you've got good enough. You can quit your job now." And after many, many years of being on the road 10 hours a night and studying every single night, 10,000 hours of back testing and all kinds of things, I've tested everything you can imagine. Okay. And I quit. I walked to my job and said, I quit. He's like, "Oh, sure. You're really going to quit, you know?" And I said, "I don't need 1,200 a week, guy. I can make 1,200 in 10 minutes." So that's the backstory on me. And that's how
That's
long I
pretty.
started. Now, Blue Sky started with an idea. I have a Discord for Trade Terminator, which is my algo. And a guy comes in one day and his name's Dave. And he goes, "Hey, man, I'm so sick of these old algos." And I'm like, "Why don't we just open our own company?" He goes, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, we should just open our own and structure it the way we want to and quit having all this stuff go on that we don't like." And we kicked around the idea and got a couple partners and I did a presentation and here we are. And we trade real money. We don't do the we don't do the PA or the sim accounts. We actually put real money up for our traders and you're paid whenever. I mean, you could take a payout once you reach profit goal, and it's really working good. And we have a fast track program. So if you don't want to take the eval, you put the 2 grand up, and we'll fast track you. You can skip the eval. So it's real money trading, and there's real brokerages. We have 2 brokerages right now, and we have Ninja Trader, Tradeabate, and TradeView coming on as we speak. So it's really getting big, but it's a lot of fun.
How long? I actually have some algo questions in this list of questions, but since you're already talking about, how long have you been running that algo?
Oh man, well I started working on the algo like 6 years ago, and from everything I've learned in the market and everything I heard in the market, and everything I was taught in the market, and I traded London markets. You know, when you first start trading, you're the trader that's got to trade all the time. You're addicted to trading, right? I got to trade. I would pull over on the side of the road, man, to make a trade. because I was addicted, right? So everything I learned back then, I kind of took and said, you know what? If I take this, this, and this and put together, what happens? And finally, one day, I started putting things together that made sense, and I kept adding on the algo until now it does the buy and sells perfectly. And I now have an auto trader that I run separate from that in my live room, and the auto trader's done great this week. It did 40K this week on its own, just watching it. Just point, push a button, and there's no emotions in an auto trader because you're not freaking out about where you got to be because it shows you. But I think with traders, having a way to learn is the complicated thing because we all have our own strategies that we developed over years of time. But to be a trader coming up in the ranks, trying to get to where you are to be successful, it's a real beating. I mean, it'll beat you to death becoming a trader. You'll lose a lot of money, and people will hate you. And then, like your friends and family are like, oh man, you're crazy. It's a pipe dream. And it's not. It's a passion you have to be a trader. And it's grit. It takes a lot of grit to be a trader because you keep coming back from failure until you actually reach that point. But I
Yeah,
enjoy it. Enjoy
lose
it.
a lot of money and lose a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of hair too.
Yeah. Your family thinks you're nuts. But if you don't have a good support system in trading, you can't be a trader. You can't have somebody always telling you, hey man, go back to work, you're losing money because it doesn't work that way. You gotta have a really solid foundation support system.
So this is also another question that's not actually written down on here. But did you get into, because you're a futures trader? Did that carry over because you were a truck driver? Were you transporting like certain things that were then traded, for futures? Like, was there any correlation there with like
No, I
your
just I started trading the stocks and I was trading the stocks with the guys from overseas. And back in the day, we had those stock evals back in the day. They don't have them in the United States anymore, but you had them back then. You do a stock eval, and it was really cool. And I got to be on the World Series of Trading um, with a bunch of guys after I had learned how to trade stocks. And we separated in 5 teams, and our team made like 30 million in a week. For that stock trading thing, it was all fake money, but still, we all won. But in that realm, I met a couple of guys from Tennessee and New York and a few guys from London. I met a guy from London I really liked, and he's like, "Hey man, you really got a niche for this." He said, "Maybe you should try the futures markets." And I thought, well, okay, I don't want to trade no cows, cows and soybean, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I got looking at the Nasdaq, and I'm thinking, man, this thing's like an ATM machine. And I've been trading the Nasdaq. I trade it every day, but I think the Nasdaq and the Dow, if you learn them, and once you pick one instrument, you stick with it. You start learning it. You start learning where it wants to do, what it correlates with. You got oil sometimes be going down, Nasdaq's going up. If you look at the VIX, same thing. If you watch the VIX, watch the Nasdaq, watch the dollar, watch the VIX. Everything kind of correlates in the markets together. But it's I guess it depends on what you're really wanting to trade. A lot of guys trade oil at 9. I love the oil trade at 9 a.m. Different time frames. I trade on 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. I got 10 screens. So I have everything around me like a cockpit. And it's like I look over here and I got my 5 minute here. I got a 12 minute. I love the 12 minute time frame. It's one of my favorites. So I got my 5 minute, 12 minute, 15 in front of me, 1 hour, 4 hour daily right on the other side of me. And I've got it for each one I'm trading. But normally I'll stick to oil in the mornings between 9. But I take the 9 o'clock oil trade at 9:30. If I make a grand there, great. I'm out. And then I'll go back to the Nasdaq and the Dow. Because if you look at the Nasdaq, Dow, and ES, some days they're all on big running days. They're all doing this. They're just running. So you just spread out your trades, and But the futures market's my baby. I like it. It's like the other day I put in a post, "Hey man, sugar's gonna run." They're like, "What's the symbol?" Like, I don't know. I've never traded sugar in my life. But I see that. It's kind of cool.
All right, so here we go for the questions there. Those ones were kind of just off the bat. But so, what was the implication with trading during the pandemic?
Um, what do you mean as far as implications?
Like, did you have to change up your strategy? What did you see in your trading community? Were people struggling? Um, mostly around that, right? Did you have to change anything up?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of stress during that COVID time, but as a day trader, we're all stuck at home anyways. So, it's like, okay, we're home. Nobody cares. But I think as far as the market goes, the sentiment of the market was like fear, a lot of fear. People were wondering what was going to happen with their long-term investments. Hedge funds were probably thinking, oh man, these guys are all going to bail. Everybody's wanting to bail on everybody. And I just think that the overall part of COVID was an experience for us. It was a way to look at the market and go, okay, can we sustain Wall Street with a country that's shut down? And we kind of did, and there wasn't a lot of things going on as far as like big. I mean, for us, we still made money. People still made money. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think pharma made a lot of money. So we won't go there though. Yeah. But that's kind of the given in that. But anywhere there is a bad area in life, something happens. There's going to be light at the end of the tunnel if you're looking at the whole market area. But it's going to take a while. I'm sure that we had those COVID lows that came down, and we're trying to recoup from the COVID low. I think as far as long term, I think the long term investor probably got hurt more than, of course, the short term or the day trader kind of thing. I think the big hedge funds, they always move positions around. They pivot around areas. So they kind of applied where they needed to get through this to make them level out. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at COVID.
So for the next question here, so how have you adapted your strategy to account for the current bear run we are seeing?
Um, it's been crazy because it's like whoop, it's up and down a lot. Um, in the mornings when I look at the markets, I'm always looking at my levels. Like I'm always looking to where it's going to break or where it's not going to break. And we know here lately we've had straight ups and straight downs and this bear, the kind of like the bear run. Big days when we have an all day hold and we know the position, we can hold the position and run it down to a target level. We're going to take profits at a target because I'm a target profit person. I believe in taking monies at profits or at the profit level and just getting out and waiting for a secondary entry and going down again. But we've had to look around and go, okay, we might need to change a few things here because you get the bear run sometimes and you get the massive swings, the pullbacks and all that. But as we know in trading, what I do personally, in a bear market, if the bear market's coming down and I'm making money on the bear market and we start kind of accumulating, and say we accumulate, but we're going to go south. During those areas, I've learned through my years of experience in the market with people I've learned things from and institutions and how they trade. If a market's going sideways and we're coming out of a big run, we go sideways. We're not really closing trades here. We might scale out a few, but we're going to let a few run to go lower. And a lot of people think accumulation zones are, oh my God, it's sideways, I get out. Sometimes that money in that zone, secretly, I'm actually putting shorts in for us to come down more. And a lot of guys will be putting longs in to go up against it. But we've had to change some strategies around because of the craziness in the markets. Like you'll have the big morning spike and all of a sudden the big dump. And you can see it in the mornings, like people are just absolutely getting brutalized and where they're getting taken out at. And it's like, oh man, that's going to be fun. But what I usually wait for, I'll wait. I'll sit back and let 9:30 go by, 9:45, and all of a sudden you can see it'll start making its way. You've heard of open range, right? Open range trading. Um,
Um, can you
yep.
explain a little bit for me and also the viewers too? Like explain
The
the
morning
format.
range, the morning range. If you take a candle, the first 9:30 candle, when the candle opens up, okay. Let's say this is the candle on my glasses, okay. So let's say the candle opens and goes straight to here, right? Boom at 9:30. You draw a line here at 9:30, okay. Say the candle comes back down here and stops at nine. Let's say it goes up 9:32, comes down here and stops here at 9:35. The next candle comes up right beside it. This is your top. This is your bottom. This is your open range for your day. So if you close above the range, you're taking a long. If you're going short, closing short, you take a short. So that's how you trade an open range trade. And a lot of times, if you take an open range trade, once it closes above the range, it'll come back and retest the range. As professionals, what we do is we look for a market that'll come above the range, right? It'll come up, come down and hit the range, but it won't. It'll bounce off a few times and go boom and really run. The same with the lower side of the market does the same thing. So a lot of times I'll watch that open range break and look for that breakout above that, and that's a really solid trade.
Does that come into play towards close as well, if it's floating around those ranges?
Not necessarily, no, because usually during the close I'm already out anyway. Because I mean, usually like between 9 and 11, hey, we got $5 grand, let's get off of here. You know what I mean? But if I do trade, I'll trade power hour, which is 3 to 4. I will trade that sometimes, but here lately with the market the way it is, it's just to me it's not worth it. It's if you've already got your money in the morning between 9 and 11, the first 2 hours in the morning, you don't need to trade. You're running a risk of about 80% of giving half that back. And why would you want to give your money back? That don't make any sense to me. But people do it every day.
Right. Someone's got to do it.
But there's always a winner and a loser. If you're losing, I'm winning. It works.
I like that. So you trade futures. What type of underlying assets are you typically focused on?
As far as the futures market,
Right. Yep.
well, I like the NASDAQ for one. NASDAQ, Dow, oil, copper, silver. I'm not really into wheat, but I am now. I'm waiting for the Ukraine because Ukraine is the number one importer of wheat. So when the war gets over, wheat's going to skyrocket, and that's not stock advice. It's just telling you that's what's going to happen. Because when it first started, man, wheat took off, and I was like, wow, I never seen me make $1 grand on wheat, but I did, right? So, but wheat's a good one to do, and there's all kinds of stuff in there that I like, but my big ones are NASDAQ, the Dow, oil, gold, copper, silver. ES sometimes. I like the ES, but to me it's kind of a slower kind of a trade. But the SPY is really good to trade also when it correlates with the other. There's other things that will correlate on different time frames. So any one of those I look at. They're my favorites.
Cool. And now for that, what type of research comes into play? Like if you're looking at wheat, obviously there's a war going on. You look at that and you can kind of understand all of that. But what type of research do you typically do for these trades?
Well, usually the news events is for one. I watch the eco calendar the market watch eco calendar, echo calendar, eco calendar is what I call it. But I watch that every morning. I also investment.com has those, everything about the news. I watch news events. I don't really trade news events because I'm the kind of person that I trade what I see and not what I hear. Because that's the old stock way of, your buddy going, hey man, it's going to go up, and all of a sudden you get in and it's too damn late, right? So basically I pretty much what I do is I look at the news events like um, like today you got yesterday jobless claims on Thursdays. The jobless claims reports on Thursdays are huge in the market for futures because we watch those. We watched the gross domestic product. We watched the CPI reports, I think it's PPI or whatever. Those reports, all those reports in those days, you can pull them up. I think I can actually, I don't know if I can get them pulled up for you, but if I could use this mouse over here. This is not my computer, it's my wife's. But anyway, you watch those reports. And every night I'll watch those reports of what's coming out the next day, especially with the Feds. The Fed minutes and the Fed meetings are all the time at 2 o'clock. Sometimes they're like, they like Powell yesterday, the day before. When Powell speaks, you listen because when Powell speaks, the market moves. With the futures market, especially, something's going to happen if Powell makes something go, okay, this is not working. We're going to change some things. We know it's going to sell. But if he says, hey, we're meeting what we're supposed to be doing, we can have a great day, and then it's going to go up. But and then the FOMC meetings, the federal meetings. I think our next federal meeting is the 21st and 22nd, as a matter of fact. We trade those. A lot of people don't trade those, but we know the meeting's at 2, and then it's like every month, right? So the meeting's at 2, but the actual candle for us don't start till 2:30. We kind of wait. But on those federal meeting days, you can actually, if you get your trades right, you can actually make a lot of money in the Fed meeting days because if it's great news that they come out with, the market just takes off. Here in the past, we had like 75 basis points. We were trading last year. They announced, oh, 75 basis points. Everybody loved it. The market took off, and then the second and third time the market dumped. But we were on those trades, and I seen guys make 70 grand in that hour and a half off those Fed. But now it depends on your broker and all that kind of stuff, what their margin call is and all that. But those are the kind of news events I look at. As far as like world news events, world news don't really affect it too much. It's more or less just the common stuff that we see every day that affects the futures market, like those big news events that we have every day, jobless claims and the gross domestic products and the CPI reports and all that. Bloomberg does a lot of stuff on that in the early morning sometimes. I think they do a good job sometimes on the futures market. And some of the people they have come on their show actually do a really good job at quoting some of the stuff that we look at. But that's pretty much what I do. I just get up in the morning with the same mindset. What's going to happen? What's going to happen today on the chart at 9:30? You know?
So how much time do you spend doing that? Is it just like an hour before market open, and then you kind of get an idea for what the day is going to look like? Or
Yeah, I have my guys come in every morning at 9. So we meet every morning at 9. Everybody just meets me in the morning at 9, and I put my charts up. I tell everybody, hey guys, everybody gets in, get your coffee. 9:15. I go to the markets about 10 after 9, and I'll jump on and explain to them what the 1 hour is going to do first. Here's the 1 hour. Here's my levels. Here's my first, second, third target up top. Here's my first, second, third, and the bottom. So if we go back past this level, we're going this target first for money, second, third. Okay. If we break this level, we're going to take this target, and that target. But the factors are in that where are we going to be sitting? Where's our ATR going to be sitting versus our moving average? Just little things. Where the institution guy is going to be hanging out at that we have to break those levels to get through. So it's about 15 minutes a morning, and then we prepare. And like this morning, we took a big nice trade this morning. Gone. Then we come out and got the other one. But we had that big short while ago in the NASDAQ. So I was taking the short and showing guys how to stack levels in between. But the algo, it came all the way down to $5,000 in one trade. So I said, I'll just take that. Or not the algo, but the auto trader. I said, there's your entry on the auto trader. Just take it. So, but yeah, that's what I look at. Just news events and things like that. Not a lot.
can you speak a little more on the algo trading?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Um, what does it normally go off of? Like, does it trade futures, or does it trade everything? Like
It
how
trades everything. It'll work on
yeah.
futures, stocks, crypto, forex. I got it set. It'll do everything. We tested on Facebook, and we got a buy in 1 month, and it was 3 months later for the sell.
What do you mean you tested on Facebook? Like it?
Stock, yeah, like the stock for Facebook. We
Oh,
tested.
okay.
We took the Twitter stock and threw up on there and threw it on Twitter and go, wow, guys, hey, we got 3 months of holding here. We did it on penny stocks and $10 stocks. I kind of wanted to see what I'd do on everything. I geared it for the futures. I didn't think it'd work great on everything else, but all of a sudden I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Bitcoin, especially. I was in a chat room with a bunch of guys with a Bitcoin. They didn't know I was using the algo. And I'm in there talking to them, on my microphone, and they're like, oh, yeah, these levels are here and there. I'm like, no, dude, that's not the entry. My entry is going to be right here, going to right there. And they're like, no, you're crazy. It's like 60, 70 points, right? It goes up, hits the 70 points. They're like, what? So then I go, well, it's going to fall from here, guys. It's going to drop like 300 points. And it did. Like 10 minutes later, it dropped 450 points, right down to my target. And the guy goes, are you psychic, man? I go, no, I'm the gingerbread man trading with you. It was just something funny, right? So, but I was testing to see what would happen, and it did great, man. But we set it for futures. I made it for the futures market, and I got to looking back at stuff, and I thought, wow, this is really cool. It'll work on everything, and it works accurate, real good. So, I mean, nothing's perfect in the world, but if you get up in the morning and you kind of let the market settle, you take that first entry, And if that first entry is 50, 60 points with 2 contracts, there's your day. You're done. You get $1,000 a day keeps the job away. You know what I mean?
Amen to that. Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
Cool. So we'll start to we've been going on for about 25 minutes now. We'll keep the show pretty short. But is there anything that you want to say to the viewers? Anything that you're working on? Anything with the firm, outside of the firm? Maybe with Trade Terminator? Anything exciting that you have coming up?
Yeah, we got Ninja and Trade Bait and TradeView coming on to BlueSky.pro, and it is BLUSKY.pro. Not there's no E in there, but yeah, we got Trade Bait, TradeView coming on. We trade real money. Um, I think we got a lot of things coming up that we're working on. Like I'm trying to get my auto trader to be permanent part of our room. And I really am looking forward to stuff like that. But as we move forward, we just want to try to. We're just out here to try to help traders because I was a trader, and when I first started trading, you lose money. You're terrible at it. We all are. Nobody starts out as a perfect trader because if they tell you that, they're full of it. You know what I'm saying? So our goal at Blue Sky and my goal at Trade Terminator is the same. Is to help others learn that this can be a career and you can learn in this and you can succeed, but you got to have the right tools and the right people behind you, because I just don't believe in all the other people out there, going, hey, take an eval for this much money and it's a sim trade because ours are not. I mean, evals are evals, but our evals are not really that tough. But you want to be consistent. It's consistency. Day traders hear consistency, account management and emotions all the time. People beat that in their head all the time. But when you're failing, like with me, when I was a failing trader, it takes more than just hearing that from somebody. You actually got to sit down and look in the mirror and tell yourself, it's not the market, it's me that's making these mistakes. I'm the problem, not the market. And when I did that, and I could sit in front of my computer without shaking in the mornings before the open because I was afraid of losing money and sweating,
Yeah.
that's the first step of getting to be a good trader. That's the very first step. If you can get past that, I can tell my guys, if you can take a trade and walk away and go to lunch with that trade on, you got the right size you're trading with. You know what I mean? Because if you're trading and you're stressing, you're trading too much size.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
it makes sense.
Is there a way that any of the viewers here can contact you? Would you like for them to contact you?
Yeah, yeah. You can do Discord app, and it's Trade Terminator on Discord. Um, and if you look up Trade Terminators on YouTube now,
Yeah.
so I stream every day on YouTube.
Yeah,
So
you know what? I saw that actually. I looked at your YouTube channel. Yeah, some long streams in there, man.
yeah,
You're on there for a while.
yeah,
And Discord that's free to join, right?
yeah. The Discord's free. It's a Trade Terminator Discord. You just type in, join. Get the Discord app off your phone. Type in Trade Terminator. Come right in. It's free to join. Um, and we do like a trial, but it's usually like a $70 a month membership fee. But right now we're just kind of letting everybody just come in and check it out and all that kind of stuff. And if they want to use the Trade Terminator, it's supposed to be like 70 a month. But we're still trying to work on all that and get something done. But I'm never going to make it crazy expensive because people have to work and they're trying to learn how to trade. You know what I mean? There's rooms out there that are crazy expensive. Didn't do what we did today. I mean, that's they didn't make nowhere near as much as we did, and they charged them way too much. But yeah, you can reach out to me that way, and the website is BLUSKY.pro. That's BlueSky.pro's website. You can go there, check out the evals, check out how we work things. But anybody can reach out to me anytime they want to. I'll be glad. And we do one-on-one coaching for free. We coach free.
I
We
might
don't
have
charge.
I'll have to
Yeah.
book an appointment for
We
that.
don't charge anybody to learn to trade like everybody else tries. We don't.
Nice, nice. I like that, man. That's solid right there.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, why teach a person to trade when if a person wants to learn to trade, they probably don't have the money to pay you and try to trade too, right? Because most traders are on a budget. So it makes sense to have the coaching for free.
Cool. I like that. Well, man, thanks for being on here, Mike Tolbert, everybody. Hey, man, this was great. This was awesome. Very informative too.
Thank you. Love to do it anytime. Just let me know.
Yeah, man, we'll have you.